Hello and welcome back to Void MTG. Today we'll be going over a basic deck building guide. This is very much a beginner's guide. I've had it saved on my phone since I started upgrading precons. It's an amalgamation of things I've learned from my husband, who has been playing for like over 20 years, my friends, and articles I've saved from the internet. These are just generic guidelines. You'll always want to go with what's best for your deck and your themes. We're going to start with lands, because you can't cast spells if you don't have mana. Most decks you'll want between 36 and 40 lands. I know some people that will say that's still kind of low, but that's the spot I feel most comfortable at. So on the low end of 36-ish lands, you have decks like Prosper. You make a lot of treasure and have a lot of treasure support, so your land count doesn't need to be as high. On the other end of the spectrum, you have decks like Yarok that run over 40 lands because the whole strategy of the deck is lands and larger creatures. I also run over 40 lands in my Joda the Unifier deck because it is a 5-colored deck that's balanced among all 5 colors. So I run every Triumph, Fetch, Shock, and a basic of each. Next, we want a ramp, because we would like to cast our spells on curve, and one land drop a turn isn't going to do that. So we're looking at between 5 to 9 ramp pieces. And this is your soul rings and talismans, signets, rocks. If you're in green, you have access to Nature's Lore, 3 visits of Farseek. Those go fetch any forest, or if you're playing Farseek, non-forest. I prefer these over things like Rampant Growth and Cultivate, but when you're just starting out, those cards are good too. Then you have the Medallion Suite. They will reduce casting costs by 1 for their respective color. And you also have mana dorks like most elves, which are creatures that will tap for mana. We draw 1 card per turn, but we're greedy and we want more cards so we can enact our game plan faster or have answers to threats ready to go. So we want around 5 to 9 ways to draw more cards. That can be in the form of spells like Brainstorm or Faceless Looting, or black has a lot of Sacrifice a Creature to draw 1 or 2 cards, even Skull Clamp, which is generic. Or if you really hate people, you could play things like Rhystic Study or Mystic Remora to draw every time an opponent draws unless they pay the 1. Next, we want ways to remove problematic pieces of our opponent's boards or counter spells that are trying to remove important pieces of our board. For that, we'll do 6 to 9 removal cards. And every color has its own way of removing things. White has a lot of enchantment-based removal where we turn creatures into indestructible beetles or treasures. Blue is just all the counter magic you could think of. Black usually has a cost, like paying life or sacrificing a creature. Red usually deals damage, but my personal favorite is Chaos Warp. You get to shuffle something from the board back into your opponent's library, but the only thing with this is you have to be careful because I have Chaos Warped something, and after shuffling, my opponent revealed the card I had just Chaos Warped, and it was a permanent, so it got to go right back on the board, and the whole turn didn't matter. Then there's green. Green has a lot of enchantment and artifact removal that's usually attached to a body, so when a creature ETBs, it blows up an enchantment or an artifact. So there will come a point in the game where there's just so much going on and the guy playing Kaisar has just way too many tokens. It's gotten ridiculous. In that situation, you'd like 1 to 2 board wipes. I know that's kind of low, but I'm here for a good time, not a long time. I've been in games where it's back-to-back board wipe, and I've wasted like 4 hours of my life on nothing. So I like to do 1 to 2, but most people do around 2 to 4. There are Kindred board wipes like Raise the Palisades that will also take down a token army because they cannot go back to your hand. Most are destroy all creatures. Damnation is a popular one, and I just really like the contrast of the art between Damnation and Wrath of God. Blasphemous Act comes in almost every precon with red because it's really good. You'll almost always pay just 1 red, and if there is something bigger than 13 on the board, well, you have bigger problems. You'll want some graveyard hate. Not everyone plays graveyard decks or Recursion, but most decks have ways of getting things back from the yard, and if it's something important that you don't want them to have, you probably want to exile their graveyard. So for graveyard hate, you'll want to run between 1 to 3 cards. Because again, not every deck is a reanimator deck, but you run into those, so you want to be prepared. Bojuka Bog is great because it's a land, and on ETB, it will exile the zombie player's graveyard. Then there are instant spells like Rakdos Charm to do it at instant speed. Scavenging Ooze, my personal favorite. 1 green, exile a card from a graveyard that I don't want to see back on the board. And if it was a creature, Scooze gets a +1/+1 and I gain life. It's such a good card. You'll want a generic Recursion package to get back some things that go to the yard. They'll be between 1 to 2 pieces. If you're planning to play like a reanimator or something, obviously you'll want a higher count than that, but that'd be more into your main theme. Black and white usually have the most Recursion cards, but green has Eternal Witness and Timeless Witness that could get back any card on ETB. So you'll want to protect important pieces on your board. Probably your commander, or just protect the whole board. So you're looking at 1 to 2 protection cards. Most popular options are Swiftfoot Boots and Lightning Greaves. Just slap those onto your commander or WinCon, good to go. Then there are protection spells like Teferi's Protection and Dawn's Truce that allow your whole board to just leave the game. Blue and white have enchantment spells like Collective Restraint, where your opponents have to pay to attack you. I just really like Collective Restraint's art. It's so cool. Last is the main theme of the deck, like what you want to build, what your commander does. For that, you'll want 35+ cards that support your theme. For example, if you're playing Kindred, you'll want as many goblins, elves, cats, whatever, as you can cram in and support pieces too, like Herald's Horn and Coat of Arms for the lulls. If you're playing combo, you'll want your combo pieces, ways to go tutor them, ways to protect your combo once all the pieces are out and you're going. Or if you're really leaning into a theme like equipment with Nahiri, you'll want things like Foundry Inspector that reduce artifact costs by 1, Steel Shaper's Gift to go get the important pieces. And the other categories in this video can support your theme, like Krenko Goblin Surgeon is definitely the recursion in that deck. And Patchwork Banner is a piece of ramp that also makes all your goblins bigger. You'll learn over time like what to piece with what. So that's it. I'll type this out into the description of the video for reference. I also have a list that I made of beginner commander staples that I like. Some come in precons, others I feel are slightly better. Nothing really above $10 and nothing super crazy like Force of Negation or Deflecting Swat, because you don't need those right away. Enjoy building your decks. Enjoy coming up with like cool themes that you're passionate about, and thanks for watching.